Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushua, Ba'Hashem, God Kodash. Love and honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect that the Akim to the Dakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. I'm the priest Shimon, and this week's topic, what I'm going to do is I'm continuing the spirit that we were in yesterday, speaking on political affairs. So I think what I'm going to name this one is maybe U.S., Africa, China, ISIS, Because pretty much what's going on in the news now is that the United States is saying that they found ISIS in Africa, parts of Africa, which, nowadays people, like a lot of shit that the United States were doing in the past, such as, using coups and proxy armies and funding both sides, that was kept in light. But now, pursuant to the book of Isaiah, the 47th chapter, everybody's woke to the shit that the U.S. Does when they do shit like this. To the fact that, right now they say that ISIS is in Africa, but you fund ISIS, you created ISIS, to the FSA, what they call the Free Syrian Army. You funded and created ISIS. You just using ISIS as a guise to get up in Africa, because the goal is to really keep so-called Chinese, which the Chinese of the Bible of the Moabites, to keep their growth from stopping. And that's what a lot of these wars are really about, man. All right, to stop the growth of another country. The U.S., Israel, and the people that have all the profits, you want to keep the profits. You don't want another nation stepping on your toes. And you see that the so-called Chinese economy is being, growing extremely large from the fact that they're getting a lot of their oil from Africa. China has a great population, but they strap for oil. They strap for oil and water, man. All right, so for them to get that oil, they have to do business with other countries, which when you look into it, that's a primary reason why the U.S. is still in Afghanistan, man. A lot of these wars, they're not meant to be won. All right, they're meant to create a constant state of chaos. And this is the same. That's why the scripture says how the things of Esau sought out. This is the same strategy that they use in the healthcare industry, the drug industry. It's the same thing as the war industry. Basically, you create a threat or a problem that can never be solved. All right, why? Because you're making money off it. Let's look at cancer. All right, if they was to come out with a cure for cancer, which they have, millions will lose profit, billions. All right, the war on drugs. The CIA makes tons of money off the the opium fields and stuff in Afghanistan. All right, and the same too with war. All right, you got these military industrial complex people. They make a shit ton of money off war. So if war was to end, all right, they'll go broke. Plus, who the hell wants to invest in Afghanistan and making an Afghanistan pipeline to China if there's constant war? All right, so the goal is to create constant war. We see that they're using the same strategy right now. They're trying to apply it in Africa, How can the Chinese do business with the Africans, the so-called Africans, the Hamites, by the way, if it's in a constant state of war, So that's the strategy, they've been using, Israel been using. But what they're doing is pretty much, as we've been mentioning in the other show, the so-called white man, the so-called Edomite empire of U.S. and Israel is acting just like the Assyrian army, all right? Which when the Assyrians, they used to go around and just create non-stop violence, non-stop war for the sake of their god, because they worship the god of war that they called Ashur. But what this did was it forced nations to unite. So right now you're seeing a ton of nations unite against America, man. All right? That's how come when we say things through the spirit, such as the fact that even nations that are allied with America is going to shoot missiles upon America. It's because America is very cutthroat, man. They force other nations to get into wars that they don't even want to get into. A lot of the wars that Britain and France and the allies of the United States get into is because they got puppet leaders over there. But the people in that country, they self saying, look, man, what the fuck are we doing in these places, man? So it's only a matter of time before people are gonna get pissed off for the way that they're being used, man. All right, they being used for wars, and the guys at the very top are profiting of the bloodshed, of the destruction, pretty much of all the things that the so-called white man is doing. All right, now prophetically, what does this stand? So-called white man, if we bring out time and time again, but those that are in the new might be coming across the show, they refer to in the Bible as the nation of Edom, of the descendants of Esau, and the characteristics of them is pretty much to rape, pillage, and commit all types of evil in the earth, man, pursuant to the book of Job 9:24 and Malachi 1:4, man. They're the border of wickedness, so they're the ones that stage in these unnecessary wars. But we're living in a modern age now, all right? We're living in the age of the internet, which nothing can really be kept secret for too long with the internet, man. That's why it says in the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 2, there's nothing that's hid that shall not be brought to light, man. All right? And that's what the internet is. The Urim and Thummim is lights. All right? You turn on your computer, you get tons of light. And you got at one time, they controlled the TV. They still control the TV, Salakia, all right, which programs the majority of the world how to think, but you have so-called few individuals out there that get their news and information from alternative media, all right? Because you have so-called white people that are against their own government, man. All right, because you have even so-called white people that are poor, destitute in his own kingdom. All right, and they kind of fed up with the bullshit that's going on here in America, and they kind of wise up to the fact that, look, man, we getting ripped off. A lot of the shit that you're saying and telling us, you're really doing, it's really to our detriment, man. A lot of the wars that we've went into was really to our detriment. All right? So what is that creating? That's fulfilling what is written about when it says by the Lord that a kingdom divided amongst itself shall not stand, man. And it's also creating wars, rumors of wars, uproars. All right? Now, in secret, they keep the American people docile with the chemtrails and the fossil fluorides and all this type of stuff to keep the people docile. But pursuant to the book of Isaiah 14 and 24, an uproar or so-called revolution is inevitable, man. All right? And so, too, is an economic collapse. All right? Because, look, man, it's not just America that's fucked up. The whole world is fucked up, man. The whole world is fucked up. The whole world, as the way things are looking, all right, is on the verge of their currency collapsing, which is in the plans of those that are really running things behind the scene. Now, they say, okay, China's up on the rise, but look, man, pursuant to the scripture, the so-called Chinese will never rule the earth, man, all right? Because after the so-called white man done ruling, 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 7 to 9, the Israelites are up next, man. The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. The Moabites already had. Every nation had a time to rule already, all right? It comes to a close with the so-called white man. So even if China, let's say China's GDP does surpass the United States, they're not going to truly run the world. The Rothschild have $500 trillion, man. And now, you have different nations that's establishing their own central banks and stuff, trying to avoid the Federal Reserve, whatever. What about Riggs National Bank? That's another bank that's tied up everywhere. And guess who's behind it? The so-called white man. You cannot escape the hands of prophecy. Job 9:24 tells us that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked man. So this is his time to rule. And how he's going to rule? He's going to rule by deceit. That's why the scripture says he gets all his riches, he gets everything he gets via deceit, man. Yeah, but anyways, man, quick little in transit. People are waking up to the bullshit. All right, now the fact that they're saying ISIS is in Africa is just another excuse to probably get troops over there and create more wars and civil unrest, man. Hey, which is a beautiful thing, man. All right, which is fulfilling prophecy. All right, so with that, man, quick little transit. I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'Hashem, Rakakodash, the blindness of the apostles and the elders of great most on true well. And salutations to all for the elect out there. You Akim to Sadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. And those of you that believe that, things are going to come to a peace and all these nations are going to get along, that is never going to happen pursuant to the Bible. Because why? Exodus 15 and 3, the Most High is a man of war. All right? And this place, America, is going to be taken out via war. That third world war, which is inevitable, man. All right, with that, shalom.